Hello, hello. How are you guys? Hopefully, you are all ready today to do the tip of the week. All right, I'm kind of getting back into it and going to be doing Monday's tip of the week, typically between 8 and 8:30. Okay? This afternoon I went live on the group for a Q&A. So if you want Q&As, those are typically over on the group. So, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raven Woods, and I'm the CEO and founder of Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP, and I help parents gain the knowledge and the confidence to become the CEO of their IEP meeting. So, with that said, if you are new, post a 1 below. If you're an oldie but goodie, you guys know what to do. Post a 2 below. Make sure you guys say hi. I want to get to know all of you. So I don't want us to be strangers. I know a lot of groups and pages are like that, but don't do that here. So post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Post a 1 below if you are new. So even if you're watching the replay, make sure you still post a 1 below if you're new, 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. And if you're asking yourself, well, am I new? Am I not new? Well, new is like 1 to 3 times, okay? So with that said, today we're actually we're just doing the tip of the week. So if you guys have been watching me for a little while, or maybe you took a break because of all this COVID stuff, and now you're kind of getting back into it. Well, the cool thing about that is, hey, Keela, girl, I called you. So if you're just getting back into it, I totally get it. We've all been like kind of non-existent a little bit lately because of everything going on. And I totally get that, guys. I totally get it. So we're going to talk about some things that I actually did on the group on Saturday. We actually had coffee together, and we talked about FAPE and what it means to when you hear people say, oh, to the maximum extent possible, we're going to help your child to the maximum extent possible. What does that mean? When someone says a free, appropriate public education means, and the standard means, to implement the IEP to the maximum extent possible. There's this big question mark on that. And, when I do my IEP makeovers, I always teach parents, if there's a question in what it says, then it needs to go. And so it's important to understand that questions are not good when it comes to your IEP. You should not have questions. Like I've said, you should be able to drop it in the middle of the park or in the road or somewhere, and you lost your child's IEP, and anybody who picks it up will be able to read it and understand exactly what services, accommodations, modifications your child gets, and exactly what their goals mean. They should be so clear that anybody, even a 10-year-old picking it up, would understand how to read those goals. Okay, maybe not how to implement them at that age. But what I'm saying is that's how clear the IEP needs to be. That for anybody that can read and picks up that IEP, they're going to understand, oh, okay, this child gets speech 2 times a week, because it's that clear. Okay, and so when they talk about the IEP being implemented with what is called fidelity, so you might hear that word, it was new to me years ago, and I was like, what's fidelity? What does that mean? And it may sound crazy, but there are these big words in the IEP that kind of catch a lot of us off guard, and that's okay. They're just not words that we use all the time. And so don't feel bad about that at all. Yeah, we need to catch up. Hey, Tara, how are you? So if you're hopping on, post a 1 below if you're new, a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie, okay? We're just doing a tip of the week. It's Monday's tip of the week. I used to do it all the time before this COVID stuff hit and all hell broke loose. So now we're just getting back into it because, like I've said, we cannot take a summer IEP break. Not happening this summer, guys. So we need to stay on top of it so that our kids get everything they need once you go back to school and you guys are totally prepared. So with that said, understanding how enrichment educational opportunities need to be provided for your child. So if things come about that are new or something new is provided, your child should always have the opportunity just like any other child. And that's part of to the maximum extent possible. Having the right therapist, licensed and, for example, for speech, and licensed for OT, licensed for a licensed reading specialist. As you guys know, I've had my hell when it comes to reading. And I'll tell you this, it doesn't matter if the reading specialist is a reading specialist. A lot of times, not all the time, but a lot of times those reading specialists have no idea how to implement a child's IEP as it is written with fidelity while they're doing reading instruction. So they're a reading specialist. They know how to teach to read in certain ways. That's the problem too. Not that we're going to get into reading. Maybe I'll have a whole thing on reading. So if you have issues with reading and your child has issues with reading, or dyslexia is going on, or dysgraphia, boy, I could get into that. But real quick, and this is with other therapists as well, but more with reading. And because the percentage is about 35 to 40% of reading specialists can teach a child with special needs how to read. That's horrible. And the reason for that is each child learns different. And, you know, you got the Orton-Gillingham approach, which is amazing. And that's somewhat like Linda Mood Bell as well. They more put in to their learning of what's called visual imagery. And then you have, you know, different other, what I call crappy reading programs, I guess would be the word. Like you have Fontes and Pinnell, you have like, what is it called? A to Z reading, all these other things. So bottom line, that's not implementing the IEP with fidelity. It's not providing FAPE. And it's a tricky way to figure out how it's not providing FAPE. Because if there is because you can't say, oh, that's not a qualified reading specialist. Because under the umbrella of what's called qualified, okay, because we know they're not qualified to work with our kids with special needs because it's not appropriate. They're not learning because that therapist is not taught, or a special education teacher is not taught, okay? The therapist isn't a special education teacher, so the teaching is wrong, okay? So that's a problem, and that's not providing a child FAPE. How to prove that is very difficult. So if you go try to make a state complaint saying, this reading specialist or this therapist is not qualified, they actually are qualified because they got a bachelor's degree and they got their teaching degree in reading services or whatever it is. But what it is they're not qualified to educate your child, but trying to figure out how to prove that is where problems arise. All right. So that's when it has to become, you know, does your child have an IEP where there's a BIP within it? And then that's where you can kind of catch it up, because the BIP is very rarely shown to reading therapists. Very rarely. And then if there's a behavior issue in reading, the reading therapist hasn't seen the BIP, so behaviors take over and impact the child's education. Then there's issues. That's when it becomes a little bit more in your court, like kind of the ball's in your court at that point. So we're kind of getting off track there, but I just wanted to kind of go over that with you because that is a good example of implementing the IEP with fidelity and really maximizing the extent of that IEP. All right. And being able to implement it to the maximum extent. All right. And you want to definitely understand that understanding your child's present levels. We talked, I put up a post today, the IEP tip of the weeks that I do like once or twice a week. I love those, you know, of knowing certain things before you go into that IEP meeting. You knowing that is going to help you be more aware of what's going on, to guide the school and the team to be more on top of implementing the IEP as it should be. All right. It's called implementing the IEP with fidelity, implementing the IEP to the maximum extent possible. Okay. And that maximum extent possible is what's an idea. All right. But in like special education terms, it's called fidelity. All right. So it can get confusing. Now, FAPE in itself is a legal term within IDEA that is more about the child and the child's rights, and there's procedural safeguards that are very important that the school follows. And that's where a big portion of implementing the IEP as it is written comes into play. All right. And FAPE is one of the biggest things a school does not want to be wrapped up for. All right. A complaint made, OCR complaint made, due process. FAPE is like that gorilla that they just don't want to go head to head with. But it can be very difficult for a parent to prove. And so it takes time and gathering your information and just taking that time to see that things are transpiring in the wrong way. So understanding that is key. Okay. So again, these are tips of the week. I'm not delivering information tonight. I am giving you tips and tricks that you guys can hopefully use as you go. All right. So it's just important to know and understand. All right. So understanding too that when your child is out, like they are right now, all right, you're wanting the IEP to be implemented with fidelity. You're questioning, well, Congress has left it up to each state to clear the guidelines about what components of the IEP are possible to provide during this pandemic. And this is such a nationwide controversy. And, there's terms used such as enrichment educational opportunity. And it's just frustrating everybody, this distance learning that a lot of kids are just not learning that way. And you're just ticked off, and these are frustrations that parents have. And the biggest tip that I can give you that you can take away from this is to keep data. And we've talked about this. Record, 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 record. Right now, you cannot, it can't be what you put in writing. All right. So if you're hopping on, make sure you post a 1 below if you're new, 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Make sure you say hi, ask questions as you want to ask. And post below if you have distance learning or if you have mandatory virtual learning, because you virtual learners, you're lucky ducks. All right. And, a lot of the parents who have the distance learning, they're frustrated because things keep remaining unclear. And, you had that government kind of letter go out on the 22nd of March. And, people are like, well, IDEA is staying in place. And, the school systems were wrong. They're not getting all this time to make up, et cetera, et cetera. So why is my child not getting all these services that are in their IEP? Some parents have reached out to the school and the school has actually provided it. A lot of schools are not, because if they provide it to your child, they'll have to provide it to other children. And so it's just causing this big uproar. Many parents have actually already started suing, and it's just becoming a really big mess. So I want you guys to just stay focused. Don't go suing right now. You're not going to win, because it's kind of like one of those things. It's a lose-lose. So don't even go waste your money and doing all that right now. Now, does that mean that you can't later? Yeah, you can, because once you guys go back to school, another tip for you is, hi Mercedes, how are you? Virtual learning, so nice. That's great. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I wish my child did. So does that mean you guys have, all your speech and everything is in play? That's awesome. So while she's getting ready to answer, another thing I want you to know is, this is a time that is going to push your patience beyond where you thought it would be pushed. And while I understand that it is frustrating, you have to just kind of sit back and let things ride. And as long as you're taking the data, things will get better, okay? And if you're doing that, you'll be able to, your son has virtual learning. You're so lucky, Cassandra. OT 1 time per week. That's awesome. Is OT working online? Is that working for you? So while she's answering, another thing that's important is, a lot of people are talking about this whole 6 weeks. I don't know if you've heard of this, but 6 weeks being time for the schools to get it together. and for parents to basically insist that their child not be discriminated against or be held to a lesser standard than their less disabled peers, because services aren't being provided. And, because things are starting to lift, more and more things are able to be provided, even in home, and parents are just going at it. So, what you guys do is going to be up to you, and just don't approach it in a negative way just so that you get what you need. Okay. That doesn't mean later you're not going to go after things and, be a go-getter like I tell you guys to always be. But with this, you just want to kind of take it easy just to get your child the minimal, and then take things to another level once school starts. Because IDEA is in place, guys. It hasn't gone anywhere. They didn't take it away. And, it's a really important thing to know and understand. And I wouldn't worry too much about it. The fact that our kids are not getting what they need right now stinks. But I promise you, compensatory services is going to be huge. I'm leaving tonight, just so you guys know. It's kind of a tip of the week is me giving a tip every Monday. All right. So as most of y'all know, if you've been watching me, I never just give one tip. I don't know how to just give one thing. So I always give more than one tip. And then it's kind of your time to ask questions. Okay. So feel free as you hop on, if you're catching the replay, post your questions below. I'm kind of here just having dialogue with you, and I want you guys involved. Okay. So just post your questions, and, I'm kind of just going over things and wanting you to kind of teeter-totter around things so that you don't kind of blow the gasket and not get anything. So if you're able to get something, that would be awesome. And ESY is not off the table. So, yes, he does cutting exercises and some other hand activities. Okay, so you're like there with him and he does those things and she's on the computer. And then Mercedes says, no OT or speech. That is just get work assignments online. My son has a hard time doing the online. He wants to be in school. Yeah. And it causes frustrations and meltdowns. Yes, it does, Mercedes. Oh my gosh. Teaching Skylar has been quite the experience. And like I've told many people, I'm very open about this. I am not the mama to be teaching her. I love to teach, but my own children, it's difficult. Some people are made for that. I'm not. So, yeah. Oh, so he just stays on by himself? He must be older. But that's awesome to have OT online. I don't know see, none of that, as much as I want to fight for it, like if I asked for it, I probably would get something if I threw a whole crap fit. But she wouldn't learn that way. So I'm just like, maybe another child needs it more, because she just wouldn't learn that way. But if your kids learn that way, guys, you need to go after it. All right. So, and let me know, guys, if you have any questions in regards to FAPE, in regards to distance learning, in regards to virtual learning. IEPs in full play. All right. But distance learning, if you have any questions, what your concerns are with that. What are you worried about? What's going on right now that has you worried? Gives you a little bit of anxiety. You're feeling like, I'm not really sure how this is going to plan out. What do I do here? It's fine to be worried. It's actually pretty normal. And I want you guys to voice that if you can. And I'm sure you're not the only ones, because other people are in your same boat. So maybe a question or something you post would help somebody else. So Janet says, my son is 4 and he does ABA 5 times a week. A week at home, and he is doing great. I am having an IEP meeting next week, and what I did was send the goal that the BCBA wrote for him so they could incorporate them in his IEP. Yeah, I think that's great. And hopefully they do. Because a lot of schools I was at an IEP today online, and a lot of school, I'm having to be clear in my emails to the school directors and team that my clients are not talking about distance learning IEPs. We're talking about getting the IEP together to have it ready for next year. We're not talking about a distance learning IEP. We're talking about ESY and having goals in place for next year. Okay? And seeing where they were presently at the time they left school, and then building off those goals and making a couple more and building off those. But a lot of the schools are wanting to kind of tweak things to where it's convenient for them because of this distance learning, which changes up your IEP. Now, some schools have put dates, or they've put, just during this time, or however they want to word it, but you have to be careful with that because you don't want something messing up the IEP that's in play now unless it gets better. So make sure that you're careful on them wanting to do what's called like a distance learning IEP. Make sure that if that's something that's done, that there's dates or time period in which it ends, and then the normal IEP takes hold and runs. Okay. Cassandra says yes, he's 14. He has math, reading, and vocational online. That's great. I feel like he gets a good 15 minutes out of a 30-minute class. Okay. That's cool. That's really good though. That's good. We need to move to where do you live, Cassandra? There's a lot of distraction from class. Okay, so it's a whole class, huh? Got you. All right. So yeah, I can see how that would be a little distracting. My daughter, who is 9, has trouble understanding the questions asked, and sometimes it's hard for me to get to adjust the wording. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's really difficult for everybody, and so I wish I could help y'all. I really do. I kind of can help you with the IEP stuff, but with the distance learning, it's very difficult to try to figure out what schools are going to do what. And, when it comes to don't put this in your IEP, or yes, put this in your IEP, I got you. But as far as, what the schools are willing to do, it's, people have asked me, Raven, do you think that if I ask for this, that would be good? Yeah, that would be great. But don't be offended if they say no, because you only have so much room to play and you don't have a whole lot of fight room. So it's not worth it, Yeah. Yeah, definitely let me know how it goes. You definitely don't want to not ask. It can't hurt to ask. And Darby Town, where's that? Drexel Hill, upper down, Darby Town. Where's that? Speech no T is one-on-one. So one-on-one online. Tell me how that works. I'm sure other parents want to know how that works too, if they're wondering, should I ask for this, right? So, and that's actually not a question, Cassandra, I can answer because my daughter's not doing that. So yeah, definitely tell us how that's working for you. You have a child, does your child have autism? And, they're doing the distance learning, and, Janet, tell us how it is with ABA. How's that working? How could that help another family? He also should be start speech as soon as in the center with only 4 other kids. That's great. Well, when everything opens, right? Yeah, that'd be great. And make sure that you guys are taking documentation. So when they're online and you're there, hopefully you can, I've said to you guys, you got to record because that's your only data. So when the kids go back to school and, you're fighting for compensatory services for all this time that your child's missed, because that is one thing you can fight for. So you're going through this time where you don't have a whole lot of fight room, because if they're not providing it to children with non-disabilities, your child doesn't get it either. And so the great thing about IDEA staying in place is you can get compensatory services for a gap of time being nothing's being provided at all. So it's kind of like summer. And if your child usually qualifies for ESY, so there's lots of things that go into play with that. All right. And the only way for you to prove that there's regression or they're not progressing or things are not how they should be or how they were, then, the recording is what's going to show the school. So it's important to have that. What you write them each week, which is what I've said to do, with your video and with, your daily notes, that's great. But the video is what speaks volumes right now and is your data. You're taking, video of your child doing speech or OT online. Okay, how is that working for them? You need to catch that on tape because, and let me tell you, if they're doing it virtually, they're recording it too. So you need to record your child and record what's going on. You're allowed to record your own children, even if you're in a two-party state. So that's the awesome part about it. So it's not like you're recording an IEP meeting without permission if you're in a two-party state, but you're recording your own child that is at home in your home online doing school, and say it's not working. You're accepting it, you're doing it, but say it's not working. You got to get that on tape. That's going to be data of this didn't work. We did it because it was all we were given, but it didn't work and my child regressed or my child did not improve at all. So that's another thing that you can ask for compensatory services for, is if your child between when they got out of school in March to present, if they made no progress, that's compensatory services. Regression, obviously, that's compensatory services. But it goes to show you, too, that there doesn't have to be regression for compensatory services or ESY to be given. Okay? That's not the only reason is regression. All right? All right. So Cassandra says he does one-on-one, face-to-face on Google Chat on the laptop. That's great. Okay. Autism, Fragile X, and ADHD. All right. My daughter's 14 too. All right. So Janet says he also should be start speech. Okay. Well, he'll start once, everything lifts, right? So if you're jumping on, guys, post a 1 below if you're new. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. We're just chit-chatting. Post your questions below. We're talking about FAPE and compensatory services and how this distance learning is working for you. And parents are just sharing their experiences and hopefully helping one another. And we're just having some dialogue of how that's working. And it's important to understand that with everything that's going on, you actually get to request compensatory services at the end of the day when everything's said and done, even though it's 6 months later. Are any of you out there teaching your kids? Are you using any type of online or an app that you really like that you'd suggest to somebody? Like, I'll suggest one to you guys. We really like Epic for reading. It's awesome. It's an app, and I had an IEP written for epilepsy and nonverbal. Hi, Alma. How are you? Welcome. Nonverbal, and they didn't follow a thing, I'm afraid. Yeah. Don't worry about rocking the boat. You actually want to rock the boat. That's when things actually get done. With the ABA, he has a center. Okay. When the virus will spread. Okay. Janet, I hear you. All right. So just so you guys know, it's important to know what online stuff you're using so you can share it with other moms and dads. So like I was saying, I love Epic. Post below what you guys like. Let's get as big of an area that we can going and posts of all the online things that you're using. Because you know how when this first started, everybody posted all these big posts of umpteen million different things, and people were like confused as all get out because 50 things were posted in one post. Post what's actually working for you. One thing that's working for us is that Epic, okay? It's a reading app, and you can pick your child's grade level, K through 12th grade, all right? And they can be read to, which is really good for reading because the auditory piece of it. The child's able to hear the book being read to them and see, because it like dots each word. So they're able to see the word and become familiar with it. So cool. And then when they read, all right, they can point to it or however they read it. And then if they don't know a word, they can press it and it pops up and then it out loud says what the word is. So if it's thoughtful and the child doesn't know how to decode that and figure it out, so they push the word and then it says thoughtful and then it says what it means. It's so cool. So it's a fun thing to do. And then there's different things as far as comprehension that goes with it. Alma says he has an IEP set up, but now that he's going to middle school, so many changes would happen. What would you recommend for the new changes? Well, what kind of changes are you looking for? I mean, what are you, what, I don't know what your child's situation is. So what changes are you suggesting? Also, who else uses cool apps? Anybody else? Or websites that they go to? I like Khan Academy. That's a good one. I like that one a lot. That's really good. So I actually got a bunch of workbooks. Like the Scholastic workbooks are really good. I got a couple for like dyslexia. I got math and reading and comprehension and all that stuff. So I just went to Amazon and spent quite a fortune. No, just kidding. It wasn't that bad. Like $120 for several books, you know? But it's a lot. And so as long as I can teach her, it will be good. So I've had to get a token board. So if you guys don't have a token boards are great. All right, so here's some more tips. If your child has behavior issues, a token board is key. All right, so if they get ABA therapy, a token board is like very popular in ABA therapy because they're working for something, okay, a reward. So they have to do so much before they get this, and then they have to do so much before they get whatever it is again. So it actually encourages them to keep working. And that definitely works for Skylar. Does anybody else out there have token boards? Token boards are pretty cool. So yeah, Alma, just let me know like what kind of changes you're looking for, and then I can kind of help you. So for anybody hopping on, you guys know the drill. Post a 1 below if you're new, first through third time. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. Like I said, we're just having a Monday chit chat. Normally, you know, Mondays I used to, and now I'm starting it back up, do the Monday tip of the week around 8:15. And so that's what we're kind of doing, and we're having a conversation. And, you know, you guys know on Mondays when I do the tip of the week, it's always a Q&A too. So, all right. So keep posting, guys, any of the questions that you have. I don't know if you saw on Facebook how I posted a kind of a paper article on some things regarding COVID and the feds. Did you guys see that? Token boards work so good for my son. Teacher mailed me one. They are the best. Yeah, they're great. I love them. Love them. So, what else? My son is, hi Linda, how are you? My son is 14, 8th grade, so he's transitional year into high school. Mine too. He is doing 2 online morning meetings, week live, and 2 online speech OT. So getting some lives, which is good, and a lot of worksheets provided. I actually have received more from school now than I know, right? I feel the same way. I don't think I've ever seen Skylar come home with a worksheet. Never. And I've never really gotten her work. That's not really the data that I request, so they just haven't really sent it. And I kind of find that interesting. So yeah, It's weird how we get more now than we did, back then. It's just kind of weird, isn't it? Um, and it makes you wonder, like, where's this gonna go? Um, I know a lot of us are already planning to request. Oh, Pennsylvania, Cassandra, I just saw that. Okay. Yeah, Pennsylvania. I hear that's a kind of a difficult state. I've had a lot of clients there. So yeah, so I posted a link on the page. You guys can check it out later. And if you guys want to share this, feel free. Make sure you click notifications above so that you can know when I go live. But yeah, I went on Disability Scoop today and I read this Fed's urge to prevent COVID-19 disability discrimination. And this is huge because OCR had put something out saying that there was a misunderstanding with how the school systems perceived how things would go. And they clarified the fact that disability law would not change, as you guys already know. And so this was when everybody was freaking out of, oh my God, what is the schools going to do? What is going to be allotted to them? Are they going to be able to have all this time? And our kids are not even going to get anything until Christmas time. I remember I was talking about it, and then all of a sudden, bam, ideas staying in play. Nothing's going to change. We just have to adhere to what's going on now, whether it be distance learning or, the mandatory. And so things have worked out in our favor. All right. Oh my gosh, y'all, look at this gray. I cannot wait till the hair place opens up. Anybody else having this issue? See, you can tell I'm not embarrassed by this stuff, right? All right. So the Office of Civil Rights had actually issued a bulletin in March clarifying that the American with Disabilities Act, Section 504, prohibited discrimination in regards to federal health programs, and anything in regards to the pandemic. So children who get, services and accommodations at the home level, that's not going away. Okay. So for parents who get help with aids and so forth, so that they can have a break or work or whatever it is they're going to do, and that couldn't be denied. Also medical care, all these things kind of went into play. But in a letter this month, it's interesting, and I can even go over the letter with you just a little bit. It's interesting because it was very enlightening, I guess would be the word, where it's basically saying that confusion should not be had because nothing's changing that maybe you don't already know about. So assuming the parent understands what IDEA is, then basically the OCR is stating that nothing's changing and that confusion needs to not remain is what they're saying. And they're trying to clarify that states have to adhere to IDEA. It doesn't matter what state you're in. However, each and every state gets to choose if they do distance learning or the virtual learning. And that's where the sucky part comes in. However, because IDEA stays in place, you get the option to request compensatory services for the time and loss to your child and educational loss. Okay? And again, that's if it's needed. Maybe they don't need it. So, receive more. Yeah. Token board. All right. So, Alma, let me know if you have an idea of what you're looking for. Don't know what to push for in the next IEP meeting. When's your next IEP meeting? He's autism. He's kindergarten. How old is he? Alma, how old's your child? I subscribe to superteacherworksheets.com, which I really like. They have a lot of subjects, topics, plus you can create your own worksheets, fill in blank, multiple. Oh, cool. Also, his teacher got him an account with I Know It and assign him topics there. Also, the Boom cards for speech. Yeah, Boom's great. I like that. That's really good. Yeah, Boom is good. There's a lot of different things that the kids can do. And I think because parents are so dedicated, I mean, look at you guys. So, because parents are so dedicated, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if our kids didn't regress at all because we're more than likely keeping up with should already have been kept up, maybe would be the word in a nice way. You know, like you guys know your kids, so you're probably teaching them. They're not going to PE. They're not going to all these things. They're not having that distraction, and so you're able to actually get them to do the work. So, you know, they may not lose anything. So that would be a really good thing. Like, I'm really pushing Skylar, you know, like I think she's so sick and tired of the repetitiveness of the, you know, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, fractions, you know, like I'm having her do it every single day, you know. But the repetitiveness is what's going to get it sunk in. Now to get the reading up and going, right? So that's cool, Linda. Thanks for posting those for people. And Mercedes, if you want to post that token board for people just to let them see what it looks like, that'd be awesome. I don't know if you can take a picture or something. And Alma, if you want to post more detail or PM me, or you can set up a free discovery call if you want. Just click book me above and we can set up a call to talk about your son. He's 9. Retaining information, yeah. Set up a discovery call with me, Alma. They're free. So just click book me, set up a phone call, and we'll talk more about things to ask for and that sort of thing because you'll be able to give me more detail. So I'll be able to set that up for you. And guys, don't forget, today is the last day for the Mother's Day sale. I'm doing 30% off the IEP Makeover 3-hour and 40% off the 4-hour, depending on how big your IEP is. So, and how much tweaking it needs and how, I mean, you guys kind of know it. It's all about the wording and the verbiage and clearing out those goals and making them completely smart. So if you guys are interested, it's 40% off the 4-hour and it's a 30% off the 3-hour. So if your IEP is like 25 pages and under, 3 hours would be good. If it's kind of over that, then I would definitely say 4-hour. All right. Okay, no problem, Alma. So I'll talk to you soon. Just PM me or set up that call on Book Me. All right. And don't forget, Linda, if you want to post the links to what you wrote, unless you already did, I can't see it from here. And Mercedes, hopefully you can post the token board. If not, I'll post a link to where you can get one on Amazon. I got one and I love it. So it's something you can, I don't get money from it or anything. I'll just post the link for you. So yeah, no problem. No problem. Hey, Michelle, how are you? We're just chit-chatting here. I'm starting up the Monday tip of the week. Remember that? It's been a long time, but it's been nice being on here with everybody. And Christina, I don't know if you're still on here, but don't be afraid to rock that boat, girl. Okay? Set up a discovery call with me. We'll chat more about that. All right? Okay, cool, Mercedes. Thanks. That'd be awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, for those of you hopping on, I see people hopping on. Post a 1 below if you're new. That's first through third time. Post a 2 below if you're an oldie but goodie. I am finally starting the Monday tip of the week. You guys probably remember it. For anybody new on here, every Monday at 8 o'clock, 8:15, I always did a tip of the week, all right? It wasn't anything exaggerant or, huge or whatever, but it was like a tip of the week that you guys could like take with you and remember, and it was important. And so that's what I'm starting back again, even though we're in this COVID thing, because guess what? We still need tips. We still need to know things, and we still need to keep up with what's going on. And so it's important to do that. And on Monday tip of the week, because it's not content night, which is Thursday night typically, Monday for tip of the week, I usually do a Q&A. So that's what we're doing now. So just fill in some of you newbies in. And if you are just hopping on or watching the replay, you kind of got a reminder of what it is. So you're not just hopping in and saying, okay, what's this? Hey, Lucy, how are you? So yeah, for those of you who have really cool websites and stuff, post them below. I'll post some cool ones below just to share with some parents, because I know like back in the beginning, everybody posted 50 freaking million websites and everybody kind of was like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then you got confused and people were like, I don't even know which one to go to. And really, it's not about the 50 different websites. It's about which one works. Tell us about which one works. What works for you? So like, I really like that Epic one. You're going to hear me talk about Epic all the time because it's a great one for reading. And the Khan Academy is always pretty good. So I like that. My daughter also does. Have you any of you guys heard of typing.com? That's really cool. I really like that as well. So, and then we're not going to talk to Linda anymore because her child gets all this stuff and none of our kids get it. She's super lucky. So, but no, you got to embrace that. Definitely embrace it. All right. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I'm going to hop off. We've been on about 45 minutes. Hopefully you got something out of this. I know it wasn't content night, guys, but hopefully you got something out of it. And I really think that we all can learn from each other. So I want you guys to get involved. I love that. Thanks, Lucy. I highly recommend Raven for IEP services. Oh, thank you. We use something similar, which is very basic and works, Token Box, which is like a pencil box and have cards like PEX. And he works with, oh, that's cool. Can you get a picture and take it for us? That's cool. Skylar used to do PEX. I like PEX. That's a good program for, especially for nonverbal, or it's a really good program. Have you guys ever heard of what's called play therapy? That's a really good therapy, and I have not heard a lot of schools talk about it lately. And it's a highly successful therapy for young children. And I would say 7 or 8 under. So write that down. If somebody wants to write it below, that'd be awesome. It's called Play, P-L-A-Y, therapy. A great therapy for children. Another really good therapy that is an OT therapy is called astronaut training. That's a good therapy. So Linda or Janet says, so I listened you and said it was a great idea for me to let them incorporate the plan goal to his IEP, and he is going to kindergarten and just start coming with lots of words and identify different things plus doing potty train. I also work with all the different app and school using Boom. That's good. That's really good. And the school can incorporate potty training. And if he does ABA, I mean, you can do it yourself, but in ABA they have it's a 3 to 7 day intensive potty training program. For young kids, look up Hannon program. Very cool. What's that? Hannon. Never heard of that. It's for young ones. So Janet, look at that. She said Hannon program to look up for young kids. That's a good one, she said. And Linda also said superteacherworksheets.com. And she said another one is iknowit.com. Very cool. I'm glad to know about all these guys because I think what's important is knowing what works, not being given just a picture and say, hey, post this with 50 different learning websites, because there's so many. It's kind of like, okay, where do I start? You know, so it's good to hear from other parents like what works. So, all right, Mercedes, you good? All right. I think you might be setting up a call. I don't know if Christina's still on here. Hopefully she is squared away. All right. Cool, cool. This was great, guys. It was good talking with all of you guys. All right. You're welcome, Janet. No problem. Yeah, let me know how it goes. And if you guys want to set up a discovery call, just push book it, click book it above. And if you want to click notifications for when you know if you want to know when I'm going live, just click that too. And share this if you want to. And I will definitely be on here Thursday night for content night. So Thursday night's content night. Monday night is tip of the week and like a Q&A. I'm on the group, guys. So if you're not a member of the group, you got to join the group because I'm starting to go live on the group every day. And then here, it'll be Monday's tip of the week and Thursday's content night. All right. And that's it, guys. All right. So we're good. Thank you guys for hopping on. And I will talk to you guys soon. Hey, Michelle, how are you? We're getting ready to get off now. But how are you, lady? How are you? Any last minute questions, guys, before I hop off? Which one are you looking for? Michelle, did you ever message me? I thought you did, and I wasn't sure if I responded back. Message me again. Things have been crazy. You know that with this COVID thing. Because I'm like, you just reminded me, like, did I respond back? Because I know you messaged me. So, who are you talking to, Janet? Are you talking to Linda? Janet is asking which one did she say. So, somebody said something. And she's asking maybe what online program worked. Okay. Oh, okay. Yes. Have you set up a call with me yet, Linda? Yeah, you and me both. Both of our kids are going into high school. Fun stuff. Yeah, definitely, Michelle. Definitely. Yeah, you know how you can just get so crazy busy? Like, you don't even understand. You think I'm just saying this? I'm not. I have had back to back to back IEP makeovers. It's been crazy. And then today I went to an IEP meeting. Then I went to a meeting in regards to just ABA therapy. I'm like, okay, I need to think. No, I'm just kidding. No, it's fun. I love it. But it's back to back, you know, like I have to have my schedule, you know? Okay. Yeah, definitely do that. I want to hear about what you have put in Stay Put and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, that's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. So yeah, let me know. What do you go? Be careful if you go to mediation. Snap type at. Look at Linda. Just let her just post all these places for us, and then we'll just kind of copy all the websites. Yeah, take a picture of the worksheets. And who was it? Whoever had that token board, I can give you guys the app of where I got Skylar's at Amazon, but I think it was Mercedes. She said she'd post hers that she has. So that's cool. Um, and she may have a better one than me. So I'll post mine. She posts hers. Token boards are awesome for kids. They don't have to have autism. Okay. Token boards is just a reward system. And it's very beneficial to kids because kids work for rewards. So it's one of those things where they will do well for that, you know. Or if you have a child that has meltdowns, you know, they don't want to do it, so they have a meltdown as a behavior, a negative behavior, to hopefully you say, oh, okay, you don't have to do it, right? And that doesn't work with me anymore with Skylar. So she throws her fits and then she finally gets it together and then she, you know, gets back to work. But a token board really works because if you say, all right, look what we wrote. You said this is what you wanted if you did XYZ. So I'll give you one more shot, but then I'm going to take a token away. So you can take one away and you can add. So it's cool. And usually a token board will come with how it works. So, but it's easy to figure it out. Yeah, so post the different things that you guys have. The type app. I love typing.com. It's a great typing app where literally it's, you know, they'll start off with just letters typing. And then like I gave my daughter my iPad Pro, and then I got one of those, you know, the keyboard that you can put with it. And yeah, so whatever works, you know. So she has the, you know, the iPad Pro that she can have apps, but then it also has the keyboard. So she can do the typing.com and she does the Con, and we love Epic. And then tomorrow, what I'll do is I'll take some pictures or I'll jump on here just for a few minutes. Are you guys available during the day? Is daytime good for y'all, like 10 o'clock? Or is that a bad time? This is better time. Let me know. Because what I'll do is I'll get all the books because I should be getting them tomorrow. So I'll show you all the books that I got and you can see if you like them. But I always like to show people and then you kind of see what works for you. I like that. Yeah. And then you just get the grade level where your child's at. So, and here's the thing too, guys. Let me just say one more thing before I get off. All right. So how a child's impacted is not always, how do I say this? So you know how you'll say, okay, my child's behind. I say that too. All right. But you have to look at, they're going to be behind. They have disabilities. All right. But maybe not all, but most. And you have to look at, like I've always said to myself, again, this has to do with impact of disability. I've had to say to myself, because Skylar's like in the middle of the road as far as autism, you know, it's like from the East Coast to the West Coast is how big it is. And she's kind of the middle of the line. And so I've always had to have in my head, okay, what are my expectations reasonably? And that was for her to be able to read and to be able to do math, the math that you and I can do, but we'll use the calculator anyway, right? So even though like we can do 3-digit subtraction or, you know, decimals or whatever, what do? Get out our phones and we do it on the calculator. So those are the things I want her to learn, you know, the basics, you know, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, decimals, money, fractions, and that sort of thing. All right, the things for daily living. And do I use algebra that I learned in high school? No. I could care less about algebra. I don't even remember it. So, but I'm highly educated. So my thing is you have to look and really dig deep as to, okay, what do I need? And this is good for goals. Okay. So that's what I'm telling you this. So here's a tip. Look at where your child is impacted. Don't let yourself get emotionally involved in that as best you can as a parent. All right. I know I had to get over myself when my daughter was first diagnosed. You know, it's hard for us all. But once we're over that, you know, we have to take our passion and make it realistic for a second for ourselves. Not in an IEP meeting, guys, but for ourselves. And look at, okay, where's my child impacted? What is it at the end of the day when they're 18? What is it that I really care about? that they take away. All right? Meaning take away from school. So I've always said, and I'm just asking you, maybe, think about it in your minds. Like, what is it that at the end of the day, what they take away, what's important to you? All right. And again, dependent on their impact of disability. So for me, for Skylar, I've always said, just to give examples, is I want her to do basic math, addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. And I mean like 3-digit multiplication, division, with like threes, 2, in the beginning and 3, however you do it. I don't even know how to do it anymore. It's bad. No, I probably do, but it's been a long time. And, then read and comprehend what she's reading. And then a little bit of geography, like how to maybe read a map and her states, things like that. I want her to learn history, like important things like Martin Luther King. And like that was a cool story for me to learn as a kid. How do I always keep thinking that? I love Maya Angelou. Don't get me started on that one. But that I love poems. I love English. My daughter's an English teacher. So I love, things like that. I think those are important things for my daughter to learn. So you're going to think about things for your child. What's important for them to learn? Like I want her to learn about George Washington and Abraham Lincoln and, just different things in history. But I do things differently. For me to teach Skylar those types of things, I take her to DC. We go to the museums and we go to the Smithsonian and, I teach her all those things. We've gone to the Air and Space Museum and we've gone to the planetarium. And those are the ways I teach her because she actually learns better that way. And she remembers it. Where if I sat her down and gave her a piece of paper and said, okay, these are the planets. Color the planets for me. Which one's Saturn? So you have to learn how your kids learn and think about in your head at the end of the day, at 18, what do I want them to take away? And then that's how you start your goals based off that. And always keep that your focus and always have higher standards. Okay? Don't think that there's certain things that your children can't learn unless you try. All right. So I'll end it with that. But yeah, just, it's something to think about. It's something to just, ponder on for a second. You guys got some time here with this COVID thing. You're seeing yourselves where your child is. It may make you happy. It may not. And it's a time for you to be able to really think about, okay, where is it? Yeah, I agree too. Vocational goals, yeah, versus true academics. Yeah, I 100% agree. And, I think education has changed since many of us were in grade school. And, I remember when I learned, my mom's a teacher. I think we all are teachers. But I think the main thing is when we used to learn, like some of us, we learned hands-on a lot, where now it's like, okay, we have to teach them to pass this statewide test, and I'm not sure if it's a better way of teaching or not. Haven't really figured that out. Being a teacher myself, my daughter is a teacher, my mother's a teacher, so I don't know. I think what's important is our kids with special needs learning what's going to help them be productive adults, And, I've even thought about it as far as, okay, what would Skylar be good at, as a job? Would she maybe need some help? Sure. But what is it that she'd be really good at? She'd really be good at hotel housekeeping type stuff. Is that something that embarrassed me? Absolutely not, because I think that would be so fun for her, even if I had to go and hang out with her every once in a while. But the girl can make a bed like you would not believe. She knows how to do hospital corners and is awesome. She knows how to fluff the pillows. I have taught her how to clean a bathroom. And so she's really good at that stuff. So start looking at those things. You have some time, and it's good, just coming from a teacher, it's good to really look at, to give ourselves some perspective of Where is it that we want our kids to be, and that be their takeaway, and then build your goals off that. Leslie says education has definitely evolved. We want our kids to be productive adults. That's right. And Linda was saying she agreed. I was in my own head for years and probably did Aiden a dessert. That's okay. We all do it. Leslie says having a trade is not a bad thing. Yes, absolutely. I agree. And I think it's important, you know, like, I don't know, like Skylar would be good at stuff like that, but you know what she's really good at too? Is she knows how to work a phone and a video camera. Like I don't even know how to do it. She knows how to do stuff. Like if I can't figure something out on my phone, she can. So you never know, you know, like these things that, you know, we worry and worry, you know, that it's going to work themselves out. You know, fight for the services, fight for the accommodations, fight for your modifications, and, you know, focus, in my opinion, all right, just from an educator's point of view, focus on reading, which includes language arts, spelling, you know, your sight words, that sort of thing, comprehension, decoding, and the phonemic awareness, all that kind of stuff, and math. So that's where it's going to get them far, all right? If they know the 50 states, is that going to get them far? It's good that they know it, but it's not going to change anything, you know? So start thinking about, you know, the things that are really important. Reading, math, writing, language arts, whatever they call it now. Those are the really important key areas, all right? And then expand into science and social studies if that's something they're interested in. All right, guys, it's been a little over an hour. It's been fun. We had a really good discussion. I appreciate you guys coming on. So we're going to do this on Monday nights, and then on Thursday nights is content night. Every day I go live over on the group. So if you're not part of the group at Autism Mama Rocks, the IEP group, definitely head over there. All right. And I will talk to you guys soon. And for those of you who are going to post stuff, don't forget, post it, okay? Post your links, post your starboards and all that kind of stuff so everybody can click the links and go to them. So I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate you guys sharing, you know, what works for you. So I'll talk to you guys soon, and have a good night. Bye-bye.